Good afternoon again, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to BowlTV. My name is Matt Cannizzaro, and I am laneside here behind lanes 19 through 22 at the 2018 USBC Senior Masters. We are just underway here with game number 1 of our B squad qualifying. A squad already done and gone. We'll run down the scores here in just a minute. I want to welcome you to Sam's Town Bowling Center here in Las Vegas. Back at it. We had a great week already with the Super Senior Classic, and now settling in to watch the best USBC members age 50 and older do their thing here at Sam's Town. I'll introduce you to our featured players here for game number 1 of 5. All competitors will bowl 15 games over 3 days before we cut the field down to the top 63, plus our defending champion, Walter Ray Williams Jr. If you want to find out the details or follow the scores for this event, go to bowl.com/supersenior. You find a link there in the info box below your video window. There's results, game by game, live scoring. If you want to follow your favorite players across the house, feel free to do that. I'll be doing that as well to see what's happening. We're using most of this 56-lane bowling center for qualifying here. Nice to be able to see what's happening on the far end of the bowling center. Again, we're here behind lanes 19 through 22 at Sam's Town. If you have any questions along the way, drop those in the chat. Be glad to get them answered for you. Our defending champ, Walter Ray Williams Jr., is bowling on this squad. He's down on 41 and 42. I'm going to go ahead and post the link on our official USBC Facebook page here, so all of your friends can join us. Go ahead and find that. Again, Sport of Bowling USBC. Share the link. Tell all your friends you're watching live streaming right now. taking a look at our featured pair. 19 and 20 this game, Robert Reed, Max Celebarger, Eddie Graham, and Ronald Thurialtz. Over on 21 and 22, Mike Keogh, Les Sherwint, Jimmy Baker, and PB3 Parker Bone III. He has pulled some amazing qualifying scores here over the years at the Senior Masters, but ran into some buzzsaws in match play last year, especially. Some huge scores shot at him, and he was quickly out of the double elimination bracket. So see if we get a chance to talk to Parker again after he attacks this 41-foot oil pattern. So far, perfect through 4 frames. Again, B squad bowling on the burn. That means that A squad this morning bowled on the fresh. Burn now, double burn coming up this afternoon. And then they'll rotate through tomorrow. They'll change the order that they bowl. It'll be BCA tomorrow and then CAB on the final day of qualifying. 15-game pinfall totals will determine the 63 players who joined Walter A. Williams Jr. in that double elimination bracket. So pretty easy to follow, and then things should get pretty exciting as the week progresses. So looking forward to that for sure. All right, social media taken care of, so remember to go to the official USBC Facebook page, Sport of Bowling USBC, or find us on Twitter at USBC. Share those posts. Tell everybody you're watching live streaming here from Samstown, and we cleared 400 during our A squad this morning. Let's see if we can beat that number as the day goes on. We get towards the end of the workday. Maybe folks want to tune in and get through those last couple hours of work, or perhaps get home and check out the action. We do have one more squad coming up later today. That is going to be at 4 p.m. local time, 7 p.m. Eastern. So don't miss that at all. You can check bowl.com/Senior Masters to see who's coming up on what squads. There's a roster. There's also a pairing sheet along with standings. We'll take a look at those right now while we have this opportunity. Through 5 games, it is Michael Haugen Jr. leading the way from A squad. He bowled games of 258, 248, 192, 213, and 277 to finish with an 1188 total, plus 188 for Mr. Haugen, who bowled very well at this event last year and had a couple of unfortunate breaks that caused his early departure as well. He was followed in the standings this morning by Keith Lesko. Parker Bone can't get the 7 to go, so his string ends at 4. Lesko finished at plus 185. Third place, Chris Gibbons of Madison, Wisconsin, plus 145. Don Blatchford is 4th at plus 131. And Major Mika Koivuniemi, plus 126. Rounds out the top 5. Just outside of that, Pete Weber, 2-time champ here at the Senior Masters, is 6th at plus 120. And looking down at 21st place, Jeff Jameson Boulder City, Nevada, plus 26. So the reason we're looking at 21 is because if you figure we take 63 plus Walter Ray Williams Jr., so 21 on each squad. The number right now is plus 26. If we're trying to estimate kind of where we are at the end of the day, or what that cut number will be. After this squad, we'll look at 42nd place. And then after C squad coming up today, we'll know what things are shaping up to look like. And I imagine scores only will get better as the week goes on, as players figure out what's happening out there and figure out how to handle this 41-foot pattern, and of course the 3 variations of it, fresh burn and double burn. So that is the rundown. If you're interested in checking out the standings, again, bowl.com/Senior Masters will have complete standings game by game here from Samstown. 90 players on A squad this morning, and it'll be pretty even throughout our 3 squads. The last number I saw before today's roll call was 272 entries, and we'll have to wait and see if everybody shows up and checks in for that. So end of the day, we'll have total entries as well as final standings for round 1 and a recap on bowl.com later tonight. Live scoring again is available on the Senior Masters page on bowl.com in the results tab. And you can watch across the house here. It's like, again, we're using 7 to 52 here on B squad. Once again, Michael Hauge Jr., the player to beat, plus 188. And typically, not a guarantee, but we'll generally see the higher scores come from the burn, and then maybe pretty good scores on the double burn. It just really depends on how they break down throughout the day. Sometimes that fresh can be a little bit tricky and hard to attack, but you really never know. So we'll get a pretty good feel for the pace of play today. And 1 squad in the books, plus 188 is your leader. A couple bowlers off to a strong start here on B squad, but long way to go here. 15 games will determine our top 63. And as the players will tell you, and as we saw last year especially, it's like 2 tournaments in one. First you got to get there. And for example, last year's event, Brian Voss just got there, got just enough to grab the number 64 seed for match play. He took on our top qualifier, Parker Bone, and came out of the gates 770 to send Parker immediately to the elimination bracket. So it doesn't matter where you end up. We're looking at probably 64 of the best players in the world, age 50 and older. And then anything can happen, any pair of lanes. Anytime you match up two Hall of Famers, whether you qualify to 1 or 64, anything can happen. So we're nearing the foundation frames here of our opening game, B Squad, the 2018 USBC Senior Masters. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Numbers growing, so appreciate those who have shared. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel here, BowlTV, so you'll be in the know when something's going on. And remember, if you're enjoying the coverage and happy to see the Senior Masters and our USBC members age 50 and older, give a thumbs up there below your video window. That means that, again, you've enjoyed the coverage and lets us know that, hey, we should keep doing this in the future. All right, game number 1, we are there. In the 10th frame, Mike Keogh going to finish things up on lane 22. 179 max score for him. Jimmy Baker. It's Stony Baker from Georgia, Canton, Georgia. Known that guy for a long time. Stony Baker. Can get to 226 here on lane 21. And over on 19 and 20, it will be Reed and Graham. Reed can get to 206. Graham working on a 3-bagger. Can get to 237. So PB3 will step up with a chance at 258 and maintain his ridiculous average here in qualifying at the Senior Masters. All right, game number 1 of 5 coming to a close. Graham 216, Reed 182. Ronald and Max now stepping up. Ronald can get to 166. Max will wrap up with the spare here, 192. Stony Baker, 206. Mike Keogh, 178. Sherwin, 203. And Parker Bone, the third, can strike on the fill for 247. Final shots here, and we will have game number 2 coming up next. If you're just dropping in, again, game 1 of 5. Wrapping up, Matt Canizaro here at Samstown Bowling Center in Las Vegas. 247 for the Hall of Famer. Game 2 right around the corner, and we'll roll through this B squad. C squad coming up next at 7 p.m. Eastern. So grab a drink, some dinner, and spend the rest of the day with us. We'll be right back with game number 2. And folks, we are back. Game number 2 of 5 for our B squad. A squad done and gone. Hopefully out doing something nice. A little warm here in Las Vegas, but maybe enjoying some sunshine, a little golf. It's our second squad of 3 for the day. Leading score on A squad was plus 188. 1188 for 5, Michael Haugen Jr. So he's your guy to beat right now. And just our second game of 5. So we'll have the standings from game 1 coming up here very shortly. And we'll read that off to you. Also, full scores available at bowl.com/Senior Masters. Results for each round, live scoring link so you can follow your favorite players. Have not seen a 300 game yet. Did not have one at the Super Senior Classic either. $2.99 was the highest. That was Ron Moore, final game of the Cashers round. He came up just short of his third appearance in the championship match of that event. This year, though, it was Mike Diaz over Mark Williams for the title and $8,500 top prize. How about that? Little pocket change and some confidence coming into this week's Senior Masters. Let's take a look at who we have on our featured pairs. 19 through 22 here at Samstown. On 19 and 20, it's Kerry Fulford, Nelson Sand, Gunn Hall, and Laniel Floyd. Over on 21 and 22, Willie Jones, Joe Beck, John Marsala, and Dan Guerrieri. Eventually going to run into some names here that are impossible, extremely easy to mispronounce, so appreciate the patience as we roll through. More than 270 competitors here at the 2018 event. So here at the Senior Masters through the A squad, Michael Haugen Jr. had the front 9. That's as close to perfection as anybody got. That was on the fresh 41-foot oil pattern. 29 mils of oil, Kegel ice being used. You can check out the graph also. Bowl.com/Senior Masters. A lot of great details and information about the event. We'll answer many of your questions, or perhaps give you some info you weren't even looking for. All right, folks, we're early now in game number 2 of 5 here in our B Squad qualifying. Let's take a look at the standings and see who's leading the way on B Squad. Again, plus 188 is your leader, Michael Hagen Jr. Keith Lesko's at plus 185. Chris Gibbons, plus 145. Don Blatchford at plus 131. And Mika Koivaniemi is at plus 126. Those are A Squad bowlers. Done and gone until tomorrow, so we'll take a look now at who's leading the way on B Squad, and it looks like high guy through game 1 is Tony Rodriguez Jr. at plus 56, followed by Kerry Fulford right here in our featured pair at plus 50. Parker Bone III plus 47. Nelson Sand also right here, actually about to step up on lane 20 to shoot at this 210. He's at plus 46. Chris Warren to our right, plus 45. David Scarterville, plus 43. So some pretty good scores there to start day 1 here on the burn. 41-foot oil pattern with 5 games of traffic already. So we're probably going to start hooking a little bit, but that Kegel Ice Oil really helps keep that pattern integrity for longer. Definitely would like to recognize our lane maintenance provider, Kegel, on site all week, making sure every lane, every day is just right for our competitors. Also, the rest of our gold partners, Brunswick, Hammer, Columbia 300, Roto Grip, Ebonite, and Storm. So thank you, everybody. Thank you all for your support. I just got a visit from Chris Gibbons. Remember we talked about him earlier. Had the front 8 or 9 as well. I want to say it was 9. And left the 4-9 on his next shot. I was down there getting the video. So he came over to give me a little bit of a hard time, joking around, of course, for putting the whammy on him there. But great day, great start for him. Right, so back half of game number 2 here on the burn, 41-foot oil pattern. We had 5 games of traffic from our A squad. 4 on most pairs, 3 on some. Now the double burn coming up later today. Be at 4 p.m. local time. $7 p.m. on the East Coast, so make sure to set an alarm so you don't forget. All right, here we are now, final frame here on our featured pair, 19 and 20. Fulford had a great opening game. 250. Another strike here puts him in the 230s. Here in game 2, Nelson Sand struggling a bit here in game 2, but got off to a nice start with 246. So Fulford up in the 10th now, 235 max score. Gun Hall can get to 222. Three-bagger after the open in the 6th. Fulford will be short. End up with 224 with a spare here. Still terrific start. His 2018 Senior Masters campaign. '21 and 22, couple frames back. All right, nice finish for Hall. 5 of the last 6 for 221. Couple of opens there, first and 6th frames, but 221. Take 15 of those. And on 21 and 22, just about ready for the 10th frame. 10th frame now underway. Tough game 2 for Jones. Guerrieri's going to step up with the double. We'll get to 192 here. Floyd finishes with 204 on 19 and 20. All right, final shots coming up here. Game number 2 of updated standings, and game number 3 right around the corner, folks. You're watching continued coverage of the 2018 USBC Senior Masters here at the Samstown Bowling Center in Las Vegas. All of that and more coming up next. We'll be right back. My name is Matt Cannizzaro. Thanks for tuning in. All right, folks, here we are once again, back at it for game number 3 of 5. Not really too much to say during qualifying other than let you know what's going on, what you're watching, who the leaders are, etc. Pretty much scores and names on the screens, and it's just bowling. We watch bowling because we enjoy it, but not a whole lot to talk about at that point. And as we get down to the matches and such, we'll have a little bit more going on and perhaps know a little bit more about all of our players too. So looking forward to the week unfolding here. Right now, qualifying going on at the Senior Masters. Second squad of 3 for the day. On our featured pair this game, 19 and 20. Let's take a look. Got John Delaney, James Stortz, David Scarterville, and from Storm Products, Dave Sims. Nice to see Dave out here competing. Used to seeing him wearing a suit and tie, going to TV shows and opening days and such, but now here he is out here on the lanes, so very nice to see his bowling game. That is 19 and 20. Over on 21 and 22, Von Duty, Dennis Horan Jr., Ricky Schisler, and Michael Canada. I have updated standings for you in just 1 minute. Again, game 3 of 5. B Squad on the burn here at Samstown Bowling Center 2018 USBC Senior Masters. If you guys have any questions, they can either be answered by looking at bowl.com/seniormasters or just go ahead and drop them in the chat room. And I'll do my best to get that info to you. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube page so you'll always know what's going on. We've got a lot of action coming up here from Las Vegas for the Senior Masters. We'll go through June 10th. And then some big news happening earlier today for the rest of the PWBA 2018 season. The PWBA will provide free live coverage of 5 events on BowlTV. So right here, subscribe, and you won't miss a minute of the action either from the Senior Masters or the rest of the PWBA season. And of course, Junior Gold Championships coming up right after that. So a lot of excitement in the bowling world, and no matter which age bracket or all age brackets you enjoy watching, there'll be something for you coming up on BowlTV. So check that out. And if you're enjoying today's coverage and seeing your favorite USBC members age 50 and older come through our featured pairs, give us a thumbs up right there under your video window, and we can go back to the boss and say, hey, every single time we fired up the live stream, we got so many thumbs up, we should probably keep doing this, and we certainly will. All part of the feedback process, so we appreciate it. Again, if you have any questions, drop those in the chat room. We'll be glad to answer those for you. Also appreciate any discussion. Anything you guys want to talk about, who your favorite players are. How about right now tell us where you're chatting from, where you're tuning in from here for the Senior Masters. It's 4 p.m. on the East Coast. Folks just getting ready to wrap up the work day here in Las Vegas. 1:19, so it's lunchtime. Maybe everybody checking in during lunch. If you're nearby, come visit Samstown Bowling Center. Feel free to bring leftovers. Don't quite have the updated standings through 2 games here on B Squad, but they're coming. Typing furiously in the tournament office. plus 188, Michael Haugen Jr. is the man to beat. Hold on the fresh this morning. Good question from Judy Stenhouse. Are the PWBA shows going to be on Extra Frame also? And no. There's actually another announcement earlier today about the PBA's Extra Frame coverage going to a new provider. You can find those details on pba.com. That was part of the reason for the change to the PWBA, as PWBA will not be going to that new platform at this time. So just going to show those events on BowlTV as they were previously scheduled. And then all Extra Frame subscriptions will transfer over to their new service. So definitely check out pba.com for all those details. I don't want to give the wrong information. And then pwba.com for information about the BowlTV coverage coming up. All right, game 3 rolling on here. Dave Sims, how about that? 4 for 4. Here in our featured pair. Storm, one of our gold partners there at USBC, along with Brunswick, Hammer, Kegel, Columbia 300, Roto Grip, and Ebonite. And those Storm and Roto Grip products rolled pretty well at the Super Senior Classic this past week, with Mike Diaz and Mark Williams finishing in the top 2 spots. So let's see if Dave Sims can continue his run here. Make it 5 for 5. He goes high and leaves the 6-10. Patiently waiting. Looks like our on-site leaderboard was updated through 2 games, so online will be right around the corner. All right, standings through 2 games. Again, Michael Haugen Jr. They got to beat plus 188. Top 10 off A squad today. Plus 75. Our high B squatter, Kerry Fulford at plus 74. We saw him on our featured pair in game 2. Plus 74, 250 and 224. Next on B squad, Dennis Horan Jr. at plus 64. And then a flurry of B squatters, Craig Harrington and Pete Toth tied at plus 61. Hugh Miller plus 60. Tony Rodriguez Jr. plus 60. Michael Clements plus 60. Defending champ Walter Ray Williams Jr. plus 39. 236 and 203. He's in 32nd place after 2 games. So looking at number 42 right now. That number is plus 30. So trying to gauge where that cut could be or might be by the end of the day. Right now, around plus 30 is where you want to be. And we'll see how things unfold as the day progresses. This is game 3 of 5 for our B squad. We still got C squad coming up next here at the Samstown Bowling Center. Looks like we've got some folks tuning in from around the world. I think I saw Norway earlier and Sweden. Got a couple of Swedes bowling in this event. And Tish Johnson can't get enough bowling. Hi, Tish. Tish, the lone female bowling in the Senior Masters this year. She's coming up on C Squad today. That's at 4 p.m. local time, 7 p.m. Eastern. So if you're a Tish Johnson fan, she'll be starting things off on lanes 23 and 24, just to the right of our featured pair. So at least we'll be close. We can keep an eye on how she's doing here at Samstown. But Tish always jumps in and says hello on the chat, especially during this event. Hopefully kicking back somewhere comfortable. Getting ready for today's 5 games. Take one more peek through the live scoring. I think we're wrapping up game number 3 on some pairs. All right, another good question from Judy about the new extra frame deal. And there's a complete story, again, on PBA.com with all the details. It definitely explains how it will affect extra frame subscribers. And you guys should be contacted by the PBA and extra frame concerning those details. And shouldn't see anything significant in the turnover. And if anything, just more and different and possibly better coverage of different things as that gets going. So definitely encourage you to check out that story. And then there's a link to the new provider, Flow Sports, that will give you all the details on there. So check that out, pba.com, for the complete explanation. Then any questions, of course, pertaining to your specific account can be directed to the extra frame folks. I'm not sure about the women getting their short end. I think they're, if anything, it's even better that's going to BowlTV, so free coverage for the PWBA and all the BowlTV subscribers. But we'll see how everything shakes up, and perhaps there's something landmark on the horizon as well for the PWBA. Keep an eye on pwba.com and bowl.com for any future announcements. So right now, we'll watch the final frames here. Game number 3. All right, 10th frame now underway here on 19 and 20. Trouble in the 10th for Scarterville. Potentially looking at back-to-back open frames to close out a well-bowled game. Gives it a run, gets one. So they'll finish with 197. Delaney can get to 169 with 10 on the fill. And 21 and 22 now in the 10th frame too. Schisler working on a string, can get to 203. Von Duty can get to 195. Max score for Storts now 180. Dave Sims still bowling well. He can get to 244. Schisler's string ends at 3. So 182 max for him. Vaughn finished with 185. Dennis Haran, the left-hander, will step up now on 22. Best he can do here is 174. So the 7 won't go for Haran. 160s with a spare here. So we'll wrap up this game, and we will have game number 4 already coming up here in just a few minutes, folks. Thanks for tuning in. You're watching continued coverage of the 2018 USBC Senior Masters. Again, game 4 of our B squad coming up next, and then C squad will be on the lanes for 5 games this evening. Thanks for being here. My name is Matt Canizaro. I'll be right back with game 4.
Swing was good, right?
All right, folks, we are back for game number 4. Let's take a look at who we've got here on our featured pairs now. Jeff Suma Sr., Russ Davies, Dennis Powell, and Daryl Dempsey. Over on our other featured pair, 21 and 22, Patrick Nolan, Peter Knopp, Scott Canfield, and the USBC Hall of Famer, Doug Kent. And his fans at home very disappointed. He's not wearing his very special award-winning USBC Open Championships custom logo infusion jersey. We'll get to the bottom of this, of course, but don't let that take away from his performance. He is 3 for 3 here in game number 4. Score to beat, plus 188. Michael Haugen Jr. bowled on A squad this morning. We'll have an update here after 3 games. Here on B squad. Folks, if you want to learn anything further about the Senior Masters, bowl.com/Senior Masters is the place to be. We'll have updated standings through 3 games here on B Squad very shortly. These guys know who they're chasing. Michael Haugen Jr., plus 188 is the number. All right, taking a look at our standings here at the Senior Masters. Again, Michael Haugen Jr., the player to beat, plus 188. And looking at our B squad leaders, Kerry Fulford, plus 142 through 3 games. So that's a pretty solid number. 250, 224, 268 in game 3 for plus 142. Next closest, Doug Kent, right here in our featured pair, plus 99, trying to chase down Michael Haugen Jr. Doug started with 3 in a row here. A couple of 9 counts in the middle of game number 4. And followed immediately by his brother-in-law, Parker Bill in the third, plus 90. Pete Toth, plus 86. Tom Carter making a move with back-to-back 240 games is at plus 72. Right now, 42nd place is plus 36, so holding steady there in the plus 30s. And you can find all of this at bowl.com/Senior Masters. All right, folks, it looks like, at least internally here, having a little bit of internet trouble. So if you're seeing anything on your end, let us know. Definitely, the stream looks good, and I think it sounds good. We've got our defending champ, Walter Ray Williams Jr. right next to us. Looks like he's bowling two-handed today. Threw the ball very well, actually, just now. Was working on strike, spare, 4-bagger. And left the 10-pin. So we'll see if this is the new thing for the champ. Walter A shooting the spare one-handed. All right, folks, we're in the final frame here. I was off seeing if I can sort some things out here before we get done with this block. Again, stream seems to be working fine, so we're going to keep doing what we're doing here. 10th frame underway. Daryl Dempsey can get to 198. Dennis Powell can get to 217. All right, 247. High game here on our featured pair. Over on 21 and 22, Judd Kent, 226. Scott Canfield, 157. Patrick Nolan can get to 165. And Peter Knopp, one more strike here, puts him in the 220s. Things moving along quickly here. Hope you guys are enjoying the coverage. Senior Masters. I wonder how many times I'm going to say Super Senior Classic this week here at Samstown after a couple of days of live streaming that great event. Mike Diaz, big winner, $8,500. Took down Mark Williams in the title match. If you missed that, you can check back in the archives here on BowlTV. Super Senior Classic Stepladder Finals. It was a lot of fun. And now we've got our top USBC members age 50 and older here this week for the Senior Masters. More than 270 on the roster. We'll have a final count at the end of the day today to see who showed up. We'll have a recap for you at the end of the day on bowl.com. Game 4 in the books. Walter Ray right next door, 239. Looks like he's having a lot of fun out there. Did not catch that one. If it was one-handed or two-handed, you might catch him on the left-hand side of your screen there. But I don't think so. He was over on lane 17. So you'll see the ball go down the lane, but not the delivery. So perhaps we'll see him come our way here at some point the rest of the week. Right now, players on the move. Game 5 coming up in just a minute. Then we'll try to track down our B squad leader. And if it's Michael Haugen Jr., well, not much work to do there. So we appreciate everybody being here, folks. 4 games down, 1 to go. Then C squad coming up next. We'll have the conclusion of our B squad coming up in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. Right, our players have arrived now for our final game here on B Squad. Up on 19 and 20 right now, Pete Toth and Henry Dawson. Toth bowling very well so far today. We'll have updated standings here to see how the last couple games went for him. Also on this pair, Richard Winther. Looks like our last bowler is going to be Dwayne Steinmetz over on 19 and 20. And looking at 21 and 22, we see Roger Zimmerman, Skip Pavone. We saw a lot of him during the Super Senior Classic. He's our leading qualifier through 18 games. Nearly made the finals. Also on this pair, Tom Carter and Pete Thomas. Pete Thomas wearing his Tournament of the Americas shirt. So he got to represent the United States down there at that annual event in the senior category. Pete, a top senior competitor. Probably one of those guys who would have great success in the PBA or on the PBA 50 tour. But chose to go a different route. He gets to bowl some different events and find terrific success. So there he is up on lane 22 right now, an Eagle winner at the USBC Open Championships, a record holder. His team, Artistic Expressions, shot the 37-20 winning score back in 2014. So a lot of fun to be a part of that, I'm sure. And now looking for some individual success here at the Senior Masters. Again, after this, we'll have a very short break while we get restarted here for the next squad. Everything's back to back to back because there's no oil break at the Senior Masters. We're going fresh, burn, double burn. And these guys are going to get done here. Again, one more game to go, most of a game to go. These guys will get done and have enough time to get their stuff and get off the lanes. The next group will come out for C Squad and compete essentially right away, again on the double burn. And we'll be fresh again tomorrow. Miscue there by Tom Carter on the 7th pin. Little guy should have gone down the first time, but wobbled around and stood up, and very uncharacteristic of Mr. Carter, but say if I was a betting man, he would bounce back here with 4 or 5 strikes coming up in the next handful of frames. So we'll see. We'll have standings coming up. I can see from here, still through 3 games on our on-site leaderboard. So as soon as we can get you the rundown, that helps me as well, so I know who I need to talk to, if anybody, as our squad leader. Appreciate everybody checking in the chat room, saying hello, and those in person as well. Standings available at bowl.com/Senior Masters. They have B Squad and A Squad mixed together, so you can see who the top A Squad competitors were, and who's leading the way here on B. We'll do the same for C Squad coming up afterwards. That's at 4 p.m. local time and 7 p.m. Eastern. And back at it tomorrow, bright and early, 8 a.m. here in Vegas, 11 a.m. on the East Coast. Right, looks like on site we're updated through 4. Let's take a look online now. And the file has been dropped, so we will look and see. Again, Michael Haugen Jr. plus 188, Keith Lesko 185, and coming up strong on B Squad, Kerry Fulford is at plus 173. So he is very much in position to get past Haugen The strong finish here. Doug Kent is at plus 125. So 250 will get him there. Tom Carter is at plus 107. Parker Bone is at plus 107. And Dennis Horan is at plus 107. All right, and then Lloyd Hayer is at plus 98. So we'll try to track down these gentlemen, see what lanes they're on so we can keep an eye on them. I'll get you some unofficial ideas of what's going on here. You can follow the live scoring. Find the link at bowl.com/Senior Masters. Doug Kent down on 11 and 12. Tom Carter is on our featured pair, of course, 21 and 22. Kerry Fulford down on 43 and 44. Might run down there and grab a quick video. Dennis Horan on 51 and 52. In the third, 9 and 10. So I'll let you guys watch game number 5 here. I'm going to take a walk, get a little bit of video, and meet you back here for the back half of game number 5. We appreciate everybody tuning in. If you have any questions, chat room them, and I'll get to them very shortly. My name is Matt Cannizzaro, and you're watching coverage of the 2018 USBC Senior Masters. All right, folks, looks like I made it back just in time for the final frames. I'm sure everybody was anxiously awaiting my return. Some good scores across the house. Does not look like anybody is going to catch Michael Haugen Jr. on this squad, at least unofficially. Down on 35 and 6, Daniel Miyamoto had the front 8. And left a 2-pin on his 9th shot. Some good scores happening down on that pair. Looks like game 5 here might be a bit of a transition game for this 41-foot oil pattern. Not a lot of strikes being thrown. Appreciate everybody tuning in. This is game 5 of 5 for our B squad. If you'd like to check out the oil pattern, you can check that out at bowl.com/Senior Masters. Click on the information tab and you'll see all kinds of information, including a graph provided by our friends at Kegel, showcasing this year's Senior Masters oil pattern. 41 feet, 29 mils. And of course, a little bit heavier because it needs to hold up for the entire day. Oiling just once a day before the start of the competition at 8 a.m. 3 squads, fresh burn and double burn. And each of the 3 groups of bowlers will get a chance to bowl on each variation before we cut the field down from more than 270 to the top 63, plus our defending champion Walter Ray Williams Jr. All the details at bowl.com/Senior Masters. Highlights on the official USBC Facebook page, Sport of Bowling USBC, and on Twitter at USBC. Right now it is 3 p.m. here, and we're getting done with game number 5. We'll have C Squad coming up in 1 hour. It's 4 p.m. local, 7 p.m. on the East Coast. Great shot there by Skip Pavone in the 10th, leaving the stone 8. He has been bowling very well these last few days here at Samstown, trying to carry that momentum here into the Senior Masters. See, even now, here on the burn, players not getting too far left. Most still standing left or right of 20, depending on which hand they bowl with. Henry Dawson, an amazing shot as well. And the 8-pin uncooperative for him too. But the lefties still sliding around 20. At least the ones here on our featured pairs. And it looked like Henry Dawson was about in the same area. So definitely not the same type of rev rate you might see at the regular Masters or on the PBA Tour. But definitely a true test of versatility over the 15 games. 10th frame now. Pavone can get to 215. Roger Zimmerman, 175 max. Henry Dawson after the 8-pin, 195. And for Steinmetz, the left-hander, 181 with all 10 here on the fill. We will take a short break, shut things down, and fire it back up for our next squad again in about 1 hour. Like we've got a celebrity sighting. David Prang, USBC Association Relations, walking around this part of his territory here in Las Vegas. So checking in on us, making sure things are going smoothly. And the Southern Nevada USBC helping out this week, running scores and score corrections and such here. We appreciate all of the help as well from Samstown and the great staff here. Take good care of us over these 2 events. So 212 for Pavone, 175 for Zimmerman. Now Pete Thomas after the miscue in the 9th. A little bit of trouble there in the 10th. He's a little surprised at that ball reaction. He can spare and get to 195. Tom Carter, who was 107 over after 4 games, can get to 205. Tack on a few more sticks here. And over on 19 and 20, Pete Toth has been bowling well today. Max for him here, 184. And Richard Winther can wrap it up 3 in the 10th for 225. Again, after this, we will say goodbye just for a moment. Roll call for C Squad coming up in about 30 minutes. Then they have their 10 minutes of practice. Should be on time and on the air, assuming I push all the right buttons, coming up at 4 p.m. local time, 7 p.m. Eastern. Final shot there for Toth, finishes with 172. So again, looks like some transition happening here late in our second block of the day. This is 10 games of traffic on this 41-foot oil pattern. 5 more games coming up this afternoon, so we should get a pretty good idea of what to expect the rest of the week. A great shot there from Winther for the double. He will be in the 220s as long as he keeps it on the lane. And that will be our final shot for B Squad. Tom Carter's going to wrap things up for him. 194 with the strike here. And the 10 leaves him with 193. A pair of 200 games on our featured lanes here in game number 5. Nice 10th frame effort for Winther. Finishes with 225. And folks, that is going to do it for B Squad here at the Senior Masters. We're going to reset and have C Squad coming at you in just a few minutes. Thank you for your support. Tell all your friends, get comfortable. It's almost dinner time on the East Coast, so kick back, watch a little BowlTV. We'll have C Squad coming up in just a few minutes. My name is Matt Canizaro, and this is live coverage of the 2018 Senior Masters here at Samstown in Las Vegas. Folks, that is the news for now. We'll see you on the lanes.